Welcome back YouTube. I'm Adam Johnson and this is the NFA Review channel. Today's suppressor is the CGS Group Kraken SK. Now this is the shorter version of the Kraken 9, which I just reviewed last week. That can definitely broke a lot of molds. I'm curious to see just how quiet this thing is dry. It does meter hearing safe, but I'm interested in the tone, and I'm sure you are as well. We will be shooting it wet to see just how quiet we can get this thing. Just gave away the Kraken 9 last night on Facebook, so that was pretty cool. Had a free giveaway on Facebook running about a week and a half. You will get a chance to win this Kraken SK, but that chance is going to my Patreon supporters. So if you want to check out how you can win this, make sure you stay to the end of today's video, and I'm going to explain the giveaway on this SK. But without further ado, let's go ahead and cover the specs here in the studio, and then we'll get shooting. First thing you'll notice when you take it out of the case is this is not your typical case you get with suppressors. It's not made of cardboard. This one is watertight and is perfect for storing a cigar. So those of you out there that smoke, pretty neat. We'll also ship with a takedown tool and a manual. We'll get to that in just a second. As far as the specs are concerned, comes in at an overall length of 4.8 inches, a diameter of 1.37 inches, and it weighs 6.6 ounces. Now, just like the full-size Kraken, if you guys already watched that video, I explained that a lot of that weight is towards the rear of the suppressor. So when you mount it on the gun, you don't feel a lot of that weight out here hanging off the end, so it doesn't feel cumbersome. So that's basically because you have all the stainless materials here at the front. Starting from the muzzle, you have a 17.4 heat-treated stainless steel piston that's been coated in a black nitride. The rear cap is 7075 T6 aluminum with anodizing. The booster housing itself is 17.4 heat-treated stainless with a black nitride on it. And then the tube is 6061 aluminum with a nice anodizing. Now your first baffle inside is going to be a 17.4 stainless steel, and that's going to protect. That is a blast baffle. So if you're shooting slow burning powder in your suppressed gun and you get a lot of those high-speed granules that will sandblast your baffle stack, that blast baffle is going to take the brunt of all that impact, and it's not going to wear down your bore aperture on your aluminum baffles. The following aluminum baffles after the blast baffle are type 3 hardcore anodizing, so it is very hard using aluminum for the baffles in a situation of a 9mm centerfire pistol can, guys. More than enough. You don't need stainless steel in there. The only thing that stainless steel will do is two things. It's going to be easier to clean because you can throw them in a ultrasonic cleaner, and it's going to be heavier. So it's a trade-off of what you guys want. I actually don't really clean my cans a lot anymore. I concentrate mostly on the booster assembly to make sure the piston can slide in and out of the rails smoothly. I don't really care about the cleaning abilities of ultrasonic use. 22 cans, that's a different story, but for 9mm, I prefer something lighter on the end of my gun. All right, let's go ahead and take this thing down so we can take a look at the inside. First, you're going to want to remove the rear cap, guys, and this is a toolless removal. So you kind of form your fingers into a little claw shape here, so you can do it out in the field. If you have gloves on or not, you will be able to fit them in here and just unscrew it. And the threads are pretty deep on this, so just bear with me. And then we'll be able to remove the rear cap and the piston assembly. Okay, so we'll go ahead and pull this apart. O-ring engagement, so you don't get any gas leakage and gunpowder blowing back in your face there through the piston. You have your spring and the piston itself. We'll get back to that in a minute. Then you're going to flip it over and interlock the little spanner holes of the takedown tool. This is the same takedown tool that they use for their Hydra 22 can, so that's pretty cool that they use the same takedown tool. Loosen that, and now I haven't taken this one apart yet, but they should slide right out, and they did. So here you go, you got the tube, set that aside. You have your blast baffle. Looks exactly like the Kraken blast baffle, the full size, and then two baffles, two forward baffles. So this is a 3 baffle SK can, guys, super compact. And I will show you a size comparison here of another small can to show you just how small it is. So let's go ahead and get right into the baffle design, and then we'll kind of back up and I'll cover the piston assembly. So these are going to be a click together type baffle. There is no indexing points here, guys, so you're going to have to just line up the notches in the baffles yourself. And it does create a lip here, so when you're shooting, you're not going to get any of that carbon fouling leaking through and depositing on the inner walls of the can. Okay, that's going to make removal of the baffle stack later a lot more difficult, had that been the case. But there is a pretty good sizable lip here on both of them, so I don't foresee any leakage issues there. Now these are the aluminum ones, so you're going to have to clean these by hands with some solvent, a brush, stuff like that. Again, sometimes cans get quieter, guys, when it gets a small amount of carbon buildup, not caked on, but just a small amount of powder in there. It'll actually help dull the tone some. So making it squeaky clean is not always the best thing to do. And then you got your blast baffle. You can throw this in an ultrasonic cleaner if you want, as well as the piston and the spring here. So to put this back together, it's pretty simple, guys. Just line up all three baffles with the notch facing the same way, and there you go. I mean, there's not much to it. It's a little tiny can. The easiest way to do this would be to set it on the table and then line up the writing on the can with a notch. That way you can repeat your point of impact shift, which I'm about to get to in a minute. It's repeatable. Okay, and then you're going to throw on the front cap here and just tighten it enough to compress that stack, okay? You want to keep tension on the stack so it doesn't come loose under recoil and cause a baffle strike, you know, just enough to just compress everything down. And that's it, you're good to go there. Now, backing up to the piston, you're gonna notice there is a notch here. Now, while you can use this notch to orient the piston, the clocking of the piston with the writing to repeat your point of impact shift, I mentioned that in the first video with the Kraken. It actually has two reasons why it's on here. This is their key system. So CGS Group has a key that comes with a manual, and it shows basically a series of coded lines on each piston to help you differentiate between the different thread pitches. So like for instance, this one has 1, and this is your 1/2 by 28, and then the 13 by 5 by 1 left hand, which is for your HK USP9 SD, like right here. That's a 13 by 5 by 1 left hand European thread pitch. So you'll have a line and then a shorter line next to it. So they basically have a coding chart for all their pistons. But you can also use that line to index where the teeth are, like a clock, with the writing on the can after you take it apart. Those of you that are not familiar with suppressors, you're just now visiting my channel, this is one of the first videos you've watched and you haven't heard this explained, I'm going to go ahead and cover it right now. When you are shooting, okay, unsuppressed, the gas is following the base of the bullet out of the barrel. Once it hits the atmosphere, they all spread 360 degrees, all right, around the bullet, and the bullet's going to go straight. If you add a suppressor on there, not only are you adding weight to the end of the barrel, which can change the harmonics of the barrel, especially in a rifle, you're also changing the gas flow behind the base of the bullet. So in a pistol can, when the gas is following the bullet as it leaves and it's flowing left and right and crisscrossing, depending on the jet pattern and design of the can, you can shift that bullet left, right, up, down, doesn't matter. It's like a clock. So unsuppressed, let's say you're shooting point of aim, 15 yards, boom, bullseye, bullseye, bullseye. Put the can on, it shifts down and to the right. Well, you can fix that by clocking it, and that's why you want to line up those notches in there so the gas flow is all the same depending on where you're going to clock the can. So what you would do, and I'll just remove this one here from the wall, here's the SK on a Glock 19X, so we'll be using this later on in the video. You see the writing here is on the side of the gun. Well, let's say I shoot and it shoots down to the right, I can pull forward on the can and clock it over one turn. Okay, so you remember those teeth on the piston, you're basically compressing that spring, letting it unlock from the teeth in the booster housing and clocking it over. So you can continue to do that until you fine tune where it is and bringing it back to point of aim. So pretty neat. It's been around a long time. CGS Group did not invent that. It's been around a long time. You can pretty much clock any can out there. CGS Group does have a lot of teeth, so they have a lot of options on where you can place that. Now, conversely, If you're shooting on a fixed barrel, okay, you can't use a spring because you're going to jackhammer your can to death on the end. As the gas pushes forward and compresses that piston for the recoil cycle, it's just going to jackhammer it, right, because it's not moving. Well, you would use a fixed spacer. So that pretty much covers the specs, guys. I hope you guys have a better idea of the baffles and the internals and how their piston assembly works. Now we need to get down to the nitty and gritty, which is what this thing has been metering at. 10-shot string average with a B&K 2209 meter that was recently calibrated with Freedom Munitions Hush 165s on a HK-VP9 at 133.1 decibels. Then they tried it on a Beretta 92 FS, same ammo, came in at 133.5, and then a Glock 19 at 133.7. So you're in the 133 range across the board with the 165 grain Hush ammo dry. That's pretty incredible on this can. It is going to be a lot more noticeable. It will be louder than this gun. This suppressor here, the full-size version, the bigger brother. Definitely will be louder, but I'm really curious to see if the tone kind of translates over the shorter length here. Then they tried some different ammo, guys. They tried the American Eagle 147 grain, which I hate because it's usually a lot louder. They tried that on a CZ P07, and it came in on an average of 137.7. So it is about 4 decibels louder to use the American Eagle ammo. Then they tried a Glock 19 with the Spear Gold Dot G2 ammo. That came in at 138, so that was the loudest of the day, 138.6. And then the Beretta 92 FS again with the Spear Gold Dot G2 at 137.8 decibels. So you're going to get your best results with the Hush 165. Now that is a very specific ammo built for suppressor shooting. I'm also going to bring out some Fiocchi 158 grain ammo because that used to be like the holy grail of suppressor ammo before the Hush 165 came out. So we will be shooting a couple different ammo types, and we will be shooting it wet and dry to see just what it sounds like in person. And I wanted to mention, I mentioned it earlier, how small it was. This is the AAC Tyrant 9S. So this is their smallest little 9 can they have. And I'm going to hold them up rear of booster assembly to rear of booster assembly here. And you can see how much shorter it is. If I go piston to piston right there, it's still a good ½ an inch, maybe more shorter. So big performance in this little guy. I mean, 3 baffles and you're metering in 133s dry. We never would have seen that back in the day. But I definitely want to go put it to the test and see if it's bearable to shoot without ears. I'm going to go ahead and just guess that this is more set up for military. You know, they can shoot it wet if they need to, and for a nightstand gun setup. This is like the perfect thing, okay? Because uber duper quiet, you don't really need when you're defending your house, but you do want to mitigate any flash. You could subdue the recoil and, of course, a sound signature so you don't get that reverb off the close quarters walls, leaving your inner ear intact to deal with the threat in your house. So this would definitely be a good contender for your nightstand duty. Without further ado, I'm going to grab some host. We're going to load up the truck, hit that range, and see just what she sounds like. Not much change putting water in it, so it's pretty efficient on the rifle. Well, summer has arrived. It's about 92 degrees and the humidity is akin to walking through a freaking swimming pool. It is disgusting out here. Got here around 8:30 in the morning. It's almost noon now, just to give you an idea how long it takes to film the action scenes. It probably only took 2 minutes for you guys to watch. So yeah, pretty miserable running back and forth today. The camera actually kept overheating 75 yards away, so I was actually having to run back and forth to hurry up the scenes before it would cut off and I'd have to redo everything again. So kind of a pain in the butt, but we got it done. And I have to say, the SK surprised me. I thought I would have a little discomfort, you know, a little sharp ringing in my ears on the handguns, and I didn't get any of that. I mean, it really shocked me, guys. You know, you guys know at home, I am honest with you guys. You know, if this can was loud and hurt my ears, I would let you know. It was not even dry. It did not work on the Glock 19X, so I had to cut all those scenes. I don't know what it is with that handgun. I'm gonna go ahead and blame the guide rod. That thing's tuned for 124 grain native, so it needs a little hotter ammo. It's like a 50-50 chance if it runs or not, and I just can't take that chance messing up all the scenes all day. So I had to cut all that. I tried, but I just couldn't get it. On the STI, it ran flawlessly with the 165 grain Hush and the 158 grain Fiocchi. That stuff's readily available. It is a little louder than the 165. Dry, but shot wet, they sounded pretty much the same. So that just goes to show how efficient it is when shot wet. Out in an open field, shooting dry, you can shoot this thing all day on a handgun like that. No discomfort at all. I was really shocked. On the Ruger PC carbine, I wish I would have brought the full-size Kraken because unless I'm going crazy, I know it's been about 2 weeks since I filmed the other video, but this sounded better to me than the full-size on this. So that has to be some sort of 16-inch barrel back pressure issue from the port, but literally all I could hear as a shooter is that loud bolt going back and forth. It was that quiet, dry. When I shot it wet, the sound signature didn't even really change, just to give you any idea how efficient it is on a longer gun. I brought the MP5 today to try to do some full auto runs for you. I don't have the 3-lug yet, so my plan was to use the fixed spacer and just screw it on the end of that Navy tri-lug, but the MP5 was not running well for me today, so I had to cut those scenes as well. So sometimes stuff like that happens, guys, but at least we got one handgun and one long gun. The STI is
just a stupid, quiet, magical host. Those of you out there, even if you don't like the 1911 platform or the 2011 platform, same thing, you need to just get one just for shooting suppressed. It has to be metering quieter than any other host that CGS Group has done. I'm probably going to mail them my gun just so they can meter it so we can get some numbers on it. It's that different. When the Glock 19 would work, the STI killed it every single time. So I tried to do some more downrange footage for you guys today. I was doing 5 shots straight on, just to the left side of the microphone, and then right, left, and then one more shot down the middle. That's to give you guys an idea. Those of you that are watching with stereo headphones, you can hear the actual, you know, the change when the microphone's facing me is pretty cool, because when I was reviewing the footage, you can actually hear the bullet flight going on the left and right stereo channels. So hopefully you guys at home will be able to pick that up as well. From the profile scenes, depending on your quality of headphones you're watching on, you should be able to hear the action noise and the bullet flight and then the thud of the projectile hitting the berm 75 yards away. So yeah, really impressive little can. Actually, really shocked me, guys. I did not expect it dry to be as quiet as it is. 133 is just ridiculous for a can that small. It should be pushing 140s, to be honest. So got to give credit where credit's due. I really like this thing, and with the exchangeable color rear cap and front caps and all that, so it's pretty neat little can. So if you guys want one of these cans, I know that Lipsy's just bought pretty much the rest of all the suppressors that CGS Group had in stock. So if you want one, you better get to your dealer now and get on it, because once these things sell out, now that they're not working with ZevTech anymore, they're probably going to keep the same-ish design, but you won't have the little ZevTech logo on it anymore. They might change up the exterior of the tube, but the performance will stay the same. So if you want to get one of these first-run models, have your dealer check on Lipsy's. They should be on there already. Now, if you want to win this thing, I told you guys if you stay to the end of the video, I am going to be giving this sucker away. Well, a new one. I wouldn't give you this nasty, wet, shot-up can. You're going to win one of these on my Patreon account. So what I'm going to do is, this is new for me, is testing the waters to see how it goes. I have been getting a lot more support on Patreon, and I want to hook you guys up with possibly winning a suppressor. So when I give away my gift cards that I do every 5th of the month, so we give away like $100 to Stag Arms, $100 to Bowers, $100 to Innovative Gunfighter Solutions, $50 to Coltac, and $50 to Chevetti Leatherworks. That happens the 5th of every month, regardless of if I'm giving away a suppressor. I'm just adding this on top. What I'm going to do is, any of you that sign up, any friends that you get to sign up, send me a PM and you get another chance in your name in the hat again. So the more people that you guys can bring in to help support the channel, the more chances you get at winning. And once we get, you know, a good following on Patreon, I want to give away a suppressor every single month, regardless of if I have to buy it or if the manufacturer donated it. That's just what I want to do for you guys. So appreciate all the support. You guys have been awesome. A lot more exciting videos coming up, and I just got off the phone with a bunch of my manufacturer friends yesterday, and I'm about 90% sure I'm going to hold one more vendor event this year. It'll be in November. It's going to be suppressed only the entire day. No unsuppressed fire, so you can walk around without earmuffs on the entire day. So early infancy and planning, so give me some time. The next shoot will be a public shoot where you guys bring your own stuff. There will not be any vendors here. I'm going to try to get some prizes, though, for you guys. But that's where you guys come out, bring your own tents and tables, and just shoot and have a good day. And that's going to be here. That's the 9/11 shoot. So I'm going to announce that soon on Facebook, so keep an eye out. So, and to make sure you don't miss anything in the future, make sure you click that like and subscribe button, guys, because you don't want to miss anything. We have a lot of cool things coming. Thanks for watching.